Exercise in Branford, and I just wanted to stop by and talk to you for a little bit about a topic that I wanted to cover with you, and that is exercise and your brain. So, most of us, when we think of exercise, we think from the neck down and what that's going to do for our muscles, for our endurance, for our stamina, our mobility, and things like that. But we tend to forget what's going on up here and how exercise and how movement is going to help us with our minds, with our brains, and you know, getting that healthy as well. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about that today. So what I'm going to start off with is how exercise can help us handle stress. So we all get stressed. We all get stressed about different things. Maybe we're stressed about what's going on in the world today. Maybe we're stressed about you know, uh, having a revision with me, and you're wondering what kind of crazy moves I'm going to give you, or maybe it's something completely different. But we all handle stress, we all have stress, and we all kind of handle it differently. But exercise can help us handle stress better. So, first, let's get into a little bit about uh, cortisol. So, what is cortisol? It's a stress hormone that works with certain parts of your brain to control your mood, motivation, and fear. Now, when we have high levels of stress, we'll have high levels of cortisol. And exercising actually helps negate the negative effects of having these elevated levels of cortisol in our body from chronic stress. So, too much cortisol can actually lead to anxiety and depression, headaches, trouble sleeping, memory and concentration problems, and a lot more. Now, some of you may have actually experienced this, coming into the center, going into a workout at home, maybe just going for a walk. You're stressed before you do that. You're feeling a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety build up, and then you feel a lot better after your workouts. I know we've had a lot of members in Branford come in, especially after a long day of work. They're stressed from what's going on there, and they always say they feel a lot better after they do their workouts and are ready to leave than when they came in. So always remember, if you're feeling a little bit of stress, get up, walk around, go for a walk. Doesn't even have to be far. Let's say you're inside, just walk around the room you're in, and it's going to help you handle that stress a little bit better. So, what's next? Exercise actually lifts our moods, okay? So, exercise can actually help your brain, uh, or excuse me, can protect your brain from atrophy associated with depression and anxiety. So basically, what that means is it's going to help protect your brain from shrinking due to depression and anxiety. And I know for at least myself, I do not want my brain to shrink. I need all of it, and I don't want it to get any smaller. So exercise doesn't just help clinical depression, which it does, but it also helps with general mood. So again, think about a time where maybe it was a stress situation that I gave before, or you were just in a bad mood. You're in a bad mood coming into the center. You're in a bad mood going into a workout at home or going for a walk. Usually at the end of it, after you've done your workout, after you've done your workout in one of our centers and talked to your friends that are there, you're going to feel a lot better leaving those doors versus when you came in. So staying mobile, it also allows us to stay involved, to keep up with people and to make new friends. So I know, especially in Brantford and of course all of our other locations, Guilford, Cheshire, Old Saybrook, we hear countless stories of people making new friends, making connections when they come into exercise, which is great. That's what it's all about. It always helps to exercise with your friends. It makes it that much easier, especially when you've just gone through a revision and you have some of these crazy movements that we like to give you, or maybe you're just in our crosshairs that day and we're giving you crazy movements to do that day. Your friends are there to help support you, and that's going to help lift your mood along with the exercise. So social connections are important in elevating and sustaining mood. Okay, so I just kind of talked about that. Making sure exercising with your friends or staying in contact with your friends to help lift your mood. So this is my challenge to you. We love seeing our members exercise. That's why we do what we do. It's fun for us. It's fun for us to see you exercise, to see you trying new things. So now that you know so far that it's good for stress and it's good for mood, what I want you to do is this is my challenge to you. I want you to take a picture of yourself exercising, walking, hiking, gardening, doing one of our classes, or just moving, and send it to me. My email is maxwell@jointeffortexercise.com. And what I'll do is I'll feature you periodically on our Facebook page. As you can see, this is one of our members in Branford, and he is doing a banded pull-off press when we were in the center working on his core. So you'll see something like that on our Facebook page. So again, my challenge is to you: take a picture of yourself doing an activity, email it to me. Again, it's maxwell@jointeffortexercise.com, and we'll post it on our Facebook page if you want to. So more about exercise and how it helps our brain is it helps boost motivation, which is a big thing, especially when we want to exercise, when we want to get things done. Motivation is key. So the road to successful aging begins with desire, okay? The desire to stay engaged and active and not become sedentary and solitary. So we want to keep moving, we want to keep doing things. Remember, motion is lotion, so we always want to stay active, not necessarily always talking about exercise, which is good and what we want to do, but I'm just talking about staying mobile, moving. Exercise can help us continuously improve and push ourselves to new goals. So I want you to think about a time when you were in Joint Efforts doors and one of us said to you, hey, in 30 or 90 days, I'll have you doing 30 minutes on a new step or a bike or a rower like there's no tomorrow. And you're thinking that we're crazy because you can barely get through 5. And then all of a sudden, in a couple weeks, you're doing 30 minutes, no problem. You're on there. What used to be hard is a little bit easier now. You're talking to your friends while you're on there. Or maybe you could think of an example where you were trying a plank for the first time, which is a pretty challenging core movement, and you could barely hold 10 seconds, and we say, we're going to get to 30 seconds. And you think we're absolutely out of our mind, which most of us are, but it's in a good way. And those of you in Branford know I definitely am out of my mind in a good way. But then all of a sudden, like again, a couple weeks, you're doing 30 seconds, no problem. And then you even progress to a minute, and then you can progress to harder planks, and so on and so forth. So this is what I'm talking about, how exercise can help continuously improve, push past goals, and help improve your motivation. So it's important to plan. It's important to keep these goals or set these goals. It's important to make appointments. That's why we have our appointments set up, because we want to make sure you're coming in. We want to make sure we see you. We want to make sure you're getting all that exercise in and seeing your friends. All of these aspects require constant self-monitoring and motivation to help improve you. And that's kind of like what it was all about, is, improving that motivation from exercise. So this is something that Rebecca made up in Guilford. So she made up a daily planning worksheet to help all of you while you're closed. So you might have some trouble finding time in the day, like what's the best time in the day to exercise for you, now that we don't have these appointments that are helping us. So what I want you to do, if you don't have this already, again, email me, maxwell@jointeffortexercise.com. I will send it to you. But what this is going to do is going to help you plan out your day and when you should be exercising. Now, if you're a morning person, if you normally come in and have your appointment in the morning, then shoot for having your workouts in the morning. If you're an evening person, and you usually come in after work and you do your workouts in the evening, then shoot for an evening time. Or just shoot for a time that you're going to be able to have X amount of minutes by yourself to exercise and do your program or do a class. So again, that's my plan. This is our plan to you. If you need it, again, email me, maxwell@jointeffortexercise.com, and I will send it to you. So, more on the motivation, all right? as we age, there's a natural decline in dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in mood and motivation. But what happens with exercise is it will inherently boost our motivation by strengthening the connections between the dopamine neurons. So I included a picture here of of neurons of what makes up our brain. And you can kind of see the orange section. It looks like a tree. So imagine the top of the tree is the orange section. That's going to be the dendrites. And then that is going to connect with another neuron, all right, to the bluish part, those axon tips. Think of those as the roots. And then that is how your brain, how your neurons are sending information to each other, all right? And exercise actually helps strengthen those connections, which is awesome. I mean, I think that's absolutely amazing. I mean, think about it right now. You're sitting there, you're hopefully listening to me, and your brain is literally learning about itself, which I think is pretty amazing. So, next, exercise fosters neuroplasticity. So, these next two slides are going to be a little bit heavier on the science. So, just kind of bear with me and we'll get through it. I'll make it as enjoyable as possible. But exercise, it keeps the brain growing by elevating the supply of neurotrophic factors for neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. So basically, neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to adjust to changes. Okay, you want it to stay flexible. Think about in life, think about as you're exercising here, we're always preaching, being mobile and stretching and staying flexible. Well, that goes for your brain as well. You want it to stay flexible. And then neurogenesis is just the production of new nerve cell, of new neurons. There was like this old thought that we were born with X amount and then we never got any more as we aged and we just lost them, which isn't true. Just like every other cell in our body, we're going to get new ones. So exercise is going to help that. So all these structural changes improves the brain's ability to learn and remember, to execute higher thought processes and manage emotions. So exercising will actually help you learn new things. So learn how to play mahjong, learn how to play bridge if you've never done it before. Maybe learn how to be a master at our Zoom meetings. It will help you remember. Maybe it'll help you remember the name of a new friend that you met at joint effort, or it will help you remember all the names of your grandchildren when we're having a party and they're all running around causing chaos, and you can list them all off like that. That's what exercising is helping you do, all right? And it's also helping managing your emotions. So that way, when I do give a revision or I do give you a crazy exercise, you're not going to get as mad at me as you might have if we weren't exercising, which helps me out. So, again, continuing, the exercise fosters neuroplasticity. Aerobic exercise helps build a strong brain by strengthening the connections between the brain cells. So like that picture I showed you before of the neurons, of the dendrites and the axons, and them coming together, of the tree branches coming together with the roots, it's helping those connections. And this picture I have here is just a close-up picture of those connections. This is when it's going to get a little bit more scientific. So contracting your muscles releases factors such as VEGF, which is vascular endothelial growth factor, VFG2, which is fibroblast growth factor 2, and IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor, that make their way from your body into your brain and aid in neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. Again, your brain's ability to stay flexible and produce new cells. So, that is my quick presentation on how exercise helps your brain. I think we need it now more than ever. We need to stay active. We need to stay healthy. We want to make sure that we're exercising so when we return, we're ready to pick right up where we left off. So if you haven't been, there's always a time to start. And if you've only been doing a little, that's okay too. A little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. So make sure that you're doing your at-home workouts if we've given you one. If not, always ask for one. Make sure you're doing our classes if you like them. Um, Give the challenge a try. Remember, take a picture of yourself doing some type of movement and email it to me. And if you need that daily planning log, again, email me and I'll send it to you. But I hope you like this presentation. We're going to start doing these shorter ones so we don't bore you to death, even though all of our stuff is fascinating. But I hope you enjoy your day and have a great week. Go out and enjoy the weather. It looks great. And I'll see you soon.